Hey, what's up guys, it's WiseGuyVito here, and today I have another video for you guys on Helldivers 2, and this will be a little bit more of a different one, because I'm wanting to discuss the current business model that they have, which is like this live service style of business model, and kind of go over why I think there are some very apparent shortcomings whenever it comes down to the current content injection of Helldivers 2. Where is the drip feed content coming from? Is there any drip feed content coming right now in Helldivers 2, and what could they do more? Because right now I'm starting to see a lot of players, a lot of my friends even, saying that there needs to be more content. You know, Helldivers 2 is very repetitive. There's nothing to really sink your teeth into. There's no carrot to chase even, and there needs to be some sort of carrot to chase in Helldivers 2. I have the same sentiment. You know, I don't think that just doing major orders and spreading democracy, I don't think that that is enough for the game. And I sure as hell don't think that just adding war bonds every once in a while, especially whenever they said that now they're going to lower the cadence of war bonds, I don't think that's really helpful for the game. And that's why I think that some sort of quality of life injection of features that give more content, give a grind, give some sort of carrot chase, I think would be very, very good. You know, Helldivers 2 has been one of the most successful horde shooting galactic strategy games of this year. This game fulfills a very particular niche, and it exploded with new players, seeing that it became what a certain Starship Troopers game should have been. However, there are some big problems with Helldivers 2, and that is it's slowly dying, or like the player numbers aren't that particularly great. Seeing what it was at the very beginning and months afterwards, it's kind of fallen off a bit. I understand that the player numbers will inevitably drop, but I think that the player numbers currently, I think, could be way better than what they currently are. And so what are the problems and what are the remedies for those problems we'll discuss here in this video. So first and foremost, live service. What is a live service? Well, live service, as far as Helldivers 2 is concerned, they have kind of taken that business model, and a live service is really known for its drip feed of content that kind of fills the hunger for the player base, wanting to do more things, wanting to fight more things, so on and so forth. And this usually is implemented by some sort of battle pass or expansion in order to drum up players. Destiny 2, I think, is a very good example of what they do as far as implementing some sort of expansion pass or just kind of like a seasonal pass of content so that players can dive into and play the game and grind out what they want to grind out for. And this model is to pick up new players and to kind of return some of the old players that kind of like drop the game, think that's not worth their time, they want to play better games, and it injects that new source of content so that it's fresh, it's rejuvenating for the current game, and the current players also have something to do, kind of like the more hardcore players. Helldivers 2 has a very interesting live service in that if you play the game, you get super credits, and you can use these super credits to purchase battle passes, or if you want to purchase the war bonds or the battle pass yourself, you can just pay with real money. So you can either grind it out or pay with real money. It's a good business model. It kind of rewards players for playing long enough. But there's a problem with the war bond system, which, by the way, the war bonds give a variety of different armors, cosmetic features, and weapons that you can use to spread democracy. However, over the past few months, war bonds have not been fulfilling an exciting feature or piece of content for the consumer. Instead, the war bonds have been either subpar, or the war bond did have good weapons, but they've been nerfed to feel very milquetoast. Not that impactful, if not just unusable. They have recently started to buff those weapons back up, but they're still nowhere as good as where they were whenever they first came out. So what does this mean for future war bonds, right? Like this current business model that they have. Well, the problem is that they either come out half-baked, or the precedent has been set that they have been coming out half-baked, or if you purchased, they have been nerfed. So, okay. So the question is, so war bonds are not that great. You know, is there any other content with all the honesty in the world is there any other content currently in Helldivers 2 that players can kind of chase? Like they can go in, chase the carrot, grind out, have a good time, look cool, sound cool, be cool, kind of show off to their friends. Hey, listen, if you play the game enough, you get this. Is there any feature in the game that's like that? And the answer is no. There's no feature like that in Helldivers 2. So what kind of features can you add to the game that would kind of help players out? Well, first and foremost, I think that the major orders need a complete rework. Right now, the major orders is that you get like 45 to 50 medals, and that's it. But medals are kind of worthless to a player that has already completed all the Warbond stuff, right? There's also materials, but if you've already upgraded your ship with those materials, then you're just sitting on a mountain of them. And then requisitions, of course, can be used to unlock not only ship upgrades, but also stratagems. But if you've already bought all the stratagems in the game, and if you've already done all the ship upgrades, well, then again, like, you're sitting on a mountain of currency that you're not using, and it becomes a worthless currency. So, in my opinion, there needs to be way more money sinks currently in Helldivers 2. Now, these money sinks cannot be worthless, right? You need something to kind of grind for. Let's say there's like a shop, for example, that gives you cosmetics for your ship, so you can kind of make your ship interior how the way that you want it to be, with like different designs. Maybe put some heads of bugs as like a mantelpiece or something, right? There's like different ways that you can do that, as far as putting some more terminals in the game that kind of give you cosmetics. Maybe there's like another shop that's not tied to the super credit armored shop, that's like a completely different armor shop that uses requisitions, so that you can buy just not necessarily like super credit worthy armor, but just something that's, you know, interesting, that you can say, okay, well, that looks pretty cool. I'll spend the time to grind on requisitions in order to get that piece of armor. A gun attachment shop even would be very interesting. I know that there's been leaks that have been saying that there will be gun attachments at some point in Helldivers 2, so they are currently working on it. Those things need to come, in my opinion, sooner than later. This will give players, the current players now, and past players, and even new players, something to kind of sink their teeth into, that gives them something to go into, to look forward to whenever they cut on the game. They're like, okay, I'm working towards a major order as far as like the galactic strategy part of it, but I'm also getting some cool stuff with the horde shooter side of things for my character. Another feature that I think would be a fantastic feature would be some sort of achievement system, similar kind of to the penance system in Darktide, where if you complete an achievement, then you get some sort of cosmetic. It can either be an armor or even like a gun scanner, some sort of way that the gun looks or whatever. I think that this would be also a very cool feature to add to the base game. And again, all of this is base game stuff. I don't think that this should be any type of expansion stuff. I think this should just be for the base game to kind of bring people back in. And it doesn't have to happen in one day. It can happen over a series of updates. It just, there needs to be some sort of information or like some sort of communication between the community and Arrowhead to basically say, okay, this is what we're working on. This is what we're working on for the consumers of the game, which is you, the player, and to basically say, hey, listen, like, this is what we're working towards, right? They've been saying all this time they've been working on a roadmap. We still haven't seen anything on a roadmap yet. And I kind of find that to be a little bit alarming, to be perfectly frank with you. I understand that there needs to be some sort of cloaked enemy, right? You know, or like some cloaked, you know, some secret weapons that we don't want to necessarily put out yet. I don't want to know about that stuff, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that some sort of roadmap to kind of tell the player, this is what we're working on, and this is kind of like the projected time of release, right? And that way, not only current players will be satisfied, but also previous players will say, okay, there might be a good reason to hop on Helldivers again at some point. It can't just be war bonds, people, okay? The content in Helldivers 2 is very scarce right now. And with this break that the devs are taking seriously, within the next month or so, I fear the problems that are currently in the game will just increase the frustration for new content. And it can't just be just like another enemy to fight or something. It's got to be some base game, like just game-changing stuff that, again, makes me chase the carrot. And that's not just major order completions, because major order completions do nothing for me right now. They just don't. And for a lot of players, they don't. Arrowhead must increase their drip feed of content in their game for the current player retention and new returning players to the game, and hopefully retain those players to play the game for as long as Arrowhead wants to keep up the game as a live service. Let me know what you guys think down below. Tell me where I'm right, tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me your ideas on how content can be drip feed, or what kind of content that you'd be looking forward to. I'll read the comments down below. I may do a video on it to kind of see what you guys think and give my opinion on your guys' feedback. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.